Time for our regular campus craziness segment. Illegal immigrants have filed a lawsuit against the University System of Georgia because Georgia won't let them in to the state's colleges. 3 illegal immigrants and their lawyers are saying that the university system's admissions ban on illegal immigrants is a violation of the Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution. The University System of Georgia told us it does not comment on pending litigation. Some students at Gonzaga University in Spokane, Washington now know that asking an Asian student for help with math is a microaggression. That according to this handout to students in a feminist theory class at the university. For the record, Webster's Dictionary says a microaggression is a comment or action that is unintentionally hostile or demeaning. The document, which was tweeted by a Gonzaga student and first reported by National Review, also warns against telling minority students they're articulate, because it might imply that, quote, it is unusual for someone of your race to be intelligent, unquote. A representative of Gonzaga said the document is one of hundreds used in the class and was meant to provoke critical thinking. Speaking of microaggressions, the president of Northwestern University says people who dispute the idea of microaggressions are idiots, and people who oppose trigger warnings are lunatics. The Daily Northwestern reports that President Morton Shapiro went on to tell students, quote, the people who decry safe spaces do it from their segregated housing places, from their jobs without diversity. They do it from their country clubs. It just drives me nuts, end quote. And the University of Wyoming helps students de-stress by offering them free coloring books. The university's website says, quote, coloring isn't just for kids, and invites students to, quote, color your stress away. The university says the program has deep roots in psychology and art therapy and was quick to note that it's not alone. The University of California, San Diego also offers adult coloring. If you've got a campus craziness story, let us know. Email us and tell us about it. campuscraziness@foxnews.com. We'd be glad to hear from you. Joining us now to talk about all these stories is the host of Fox News Weekend, my buddy Tucker Carlson. Tucker, how are you?
Hey, Brett.
Glad to see you.
That's hilarious.
So when you look at those, what do you, I mean, I have granddaughters that will soon be in college. You have daughters who will soon be in college.
Yes, we're in there now. At your alma mater, in fact.
Right. So what's going on here?
Well, I mean, a lot of things are happening, but the net effect is to risk undermining one of the most valuable things we have in the United States, which is our education system. I mean, people are going to begin to suspect middle-class parents who are working a second job to pay for these tuitions, 50 grand a year for an elite school, that maybe it's not worth it. Maybe this is an education bubble. Maybe our schools are not actually teaching our kids things that are worthwhile to learn, and maybe more important, they're not preparing them for life beyond college. Once people begin to think that, the whole system collapses, because it is built on faith. It's built on the faith that if you send your child to one of these schools, he or she will have a massive leg up in the race in life. And if people stop believing that, boy, I mean, they're really devaluing their own currency by playing around with
It's sort of a commonplace that, you know, faculty are liberal at colleges and that, you know, colleges are generally a liberal atmosphere. To me, though, this stuff seems well beyond sort of ordinary garden variety liberal thinking. It seems way out there.
Well, they're illiberal, actually, and you can tell from the comments from the president of Northwestern, who didn't in any substantial way address the complaints against microaggressions or safe spaces, but instead just called anybody who raises questions about them immoral.
Yeah, lunatics.
Says they're lunatics,
right.
Dismisses them entirely. That's not the thinking of a liberal person. That's the thinking of an authoritarian. Shut up and obey. You don't agree with me, you're a bad person, you're going to hell. That's really almost a totalitarian religious view of the world. You're a heretic, and you deserve to be punished for thinking something outside the lines. That's the opposite of why we have colleges. They're supposed to be places where free inquiry rules, where, you know, that are legitimately liberal. I don't agree with you, but let's talk it out. Let's try to win each other over. That does not happen anymore. Exactly.
You know, I have to say, I look around. My older granddaughter's, you know, she's waiting to hear from colleges this year, and she's just, you know, senior. And I look around these colleges, including University of Virginia, where you have a
I have a couple.
You have a couple kids. Where I went, and I think, well, where can she go to get away from this stuff? I mean, where do you look to get away from this? This is just remarkable.
Well, I mean, look, you want your children to go to school to become better and to become better prepared for life, but reading stuff like this and watching it in action, you begin to suspect that it might actually hurt them. in addition to costing you a lot of money. I think some people are going to begin to decide that actually it might be worth putting your children into the job market. I mean, if you spend $50,000 a year for 4 years, $200,000 educating a child.
Or go into debt doing that.
That's exactly right, which is the case for most people. Why wouldn't it be a better investment to subsidize that child for half that amount over 4 years and have them do an internship or an apprenticeship and learn a trade? That's not obviously the right course for all kids. But for some substantial percentage, it's probably a better thing.
Well, it used to be you thought, well, you know, this may not be job training that you're getting at college, liberal arts education, but you get a broad grounding in culture and history.
That's exactly
so on.
right.
And if you're not getting that anymore, it does raise the question, what's the point?
It's the attack on history that is the most ominous of all, because the study of history is the process of learning from the mistakes of others. I mean, reading history is a way of determining why people did what they did and deciding that, you know, maybe I shouldn't do it too, right? It's learning a lesson from other people. If you stop teaching that, and they have, then there is no point to college.
Tucker, great to see you.
Great to you, ladies and gentlemen.